It's time, yet again, for the single most thought-provoking, inspiring, incredulous podcast hosted by the biggest piece of shit of a person ever. This is the Mingucho Show. My name is Mingucho. I am joined today by PleasedontPee, a Reddit user that I met in one of my streams. I know nothing about him, which is fucking the whole point of this goddamn thing, right? So I'm going to start off by asking you the question that I ask every single one of my guests, which
Let's
is,
go.
tell me in America a little bit about yourself.
All right. So let's see. I grew up in the Midwest. Had a pretty normal Midwest upbringing. Um, and got when I was young, I got really into art, drawing, and things like that. And um, let's see. Started when I was young. I went to Catholic school, and me and a group of about three friends were really kind of disillusioned by a lot of that really at a young age. Around fifth grade, we all kind of didn't want to be in that bubble anymore. And so we appealed, the three of us, to our parents to try and get us into public school. And I think pretty across the board, our parents were pretty resistant to the idea. They were used to sort of their comfortable little nest they had created. But eventually I think we had put together enough of an argument that they were on board with it. And I think they were also probably excited about saving however many thousands of dollars each year on tuition. And so we ended up all going to public school together, starting in the middle of sixth grade. And since then, I've kind of been the type who has never really been comfortable where I am. I always need to bounce around and change things up a lot.
Why do you think that is?
I like excitement. I like keeping things interesting. So when I was in high school, I met somebody who had studied abroad in Italy and got I had my mind set on that and really wanted to live in Italy for part of high school. And convinced my parents to go for it. It was going to be 6 months, and we went to some meet and greets for that and met people. It was through this program called AFS, American Field Service. We had met some people who had done something similar, and I was talking to somebody who spent 6 months in Ghana in West Africa, and I was like, that sounds more up my alley. So I ended up living in Ghana.
Boss.
Yeah, I ended up living in Ghana for 6 months when I was 15 years old on my own. I was staying with a family there.
Tell me about your experience in Ghana, at that age. And the reason why I'm asking you is because at a similar age, at 15 rather, I spent some time in Puerto Chubernal, Mexico on a missions trip, but it was very brief. I want to hear what your view was seeing how that part of the world works. That's very interesting to me. Please tell me about that.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So I was 15 when I went there. And stayed in a little hotel with some other exchange students for maybe three nights, and then we met our host families, and I was staying in the capital city for a long time, for about 3 months, and then once again got bored there and appealed to move to this really small mountain town where I was staying with. So it was New Tafo and Old Tafo were the two towns, and one was kind of a farming area, and the other was the town that was connected to that. And the parents who were responsible for looking after me were in this farming town, and I think I met them 3 times in the entire 3 months I was there. But I was staying with their kids who were in high school and in their early 20s, and they owned a bar. And so the first thing that happened when I got there, they were like, "Oh, what do you drink?" And at 15, I think I had like probably gotten drunk with some friends here and there, but like by no means did I have a drink. It was like whatever was in my parents' liquor cabinet.
You look at them like, yes, I'm not,
I
I'm not,
did.
I'm not quite sure, but if you have something along the lines of single malt scotch, that's right up
I
my alley.
You're exactly right. I asked for scotch. They gave me a bottle of Jane scotch, a full bottle that I just kept in my room and like sipped on. But yeah. So when I was in Accra, when I was in the capital, I was supposed to be going to school, and I went to like this Presbyterian boys' school, where they had like corporal punishment and all that. Um,
I think like the biggest difference between Presbyterians and like other Christians is that you believe that the body and blood of Christ are symbols of it, as opposed to Catholics that believe that they're actually eating people.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm Catholic, so I believe that we're really eating people. Um, no, I was raised Catholic, but that's actually another story. But
Oh boy.
yeah, so I would go to school, and like for the first week or so, the teachers showed up, and then at a certain point, like the teachers just stopped showing up there, and so we would be at school for like an hour, no one would come, and we ended up just like leaving. We'd go to like there was a university nearby, we'd play basketball outside. I met some like young people my age who like smoked weed and practiced magic. um
Like The Gathering, or like
you could say the gathering. No, real like yeah. They had tortoise shells and sage and pouring libations.
what was the name of like the occultist practices that they had there? Like,
Um, they're I mean, I think here it's known as like voodoo or juju,
okay,
but it's all kind of tied to like tribal religions. So yeah, they call it juju there.
yeah. Do you believe in magic? We got a tortoise shell, a little bit of sage. Now you're going to hell.
That was every day there. We would just sing that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was amazing. Yeah, we would. I remember like weed was super cheap too. You could get a dime bag for like the equivalent of a dime. And we would
Nice.
like roll up like a fat joint, and there's all these like unfinished, incomplete like building projects there, and so we would go to the highest point of like a unfinished building and just like watch the sunset and get high and not go to school. So I highly recommend it to anyone who's interested.
That's great. So you've done a lot of traveling, I guess, right? Like, I mean, I'm the type of person that like believes that the only thing that you can purchase with money that truly makes you richer are the experiences that you get when you travel. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, like I've talked on this podcast before, like pretty much like my whole goal of what I'm doing right now is so I can buy an Astrovan and live van life
Oh
in
my
the
god.
United States and fucking yeah, I can't wait. Like I'm already dreading my pubic hairs for the girls that I'm gonna meet. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
You said you're threading them?
I'm yeah, dreading them.
Yeah. Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
yeah, like dreadlocks, not like, like my pubic hairs are afraid of these women, but
I heard threading. Like there's
dreading.
people who thread their eyebrows. That too. Yeah.
So that is a business idea right
You got
there.
a nice hairline on those pube
You know
dreads.
what I'm saying? Like you want like a lightning bolt, like just to tell women how quick you are in bed. Like come down to me and
Like the,
PNP's
like
fucking
the zine.
shit.
Remember people used to get zines or like the designs in the back of their buzz.
They still do. They still do.
That's true. Did
But
you ever
yeah,
have one of those?
what designs of my pubes?
Yeah. Or currently? Well, this is the audio format, but for the
Yeah,
people who are tuning in, you missed a nice show there.
yeah. I mean, can you describe to them the shape of my pubes?
Yeah, so on the top, it's kind of like a mushroom cloud, and then coming down from that, you've got rainbows and acid rain, and then that unicorn. with the shaft as the horn is just genius. I don't
You
know.
would not believe how many times I walk back there and I'm like, it just doesn't look big enough.
Yeah. Well, I know some people in Ghana who might be able to help you out with that. Mix up
What? On
some
my
tortoise shell potions.
on my streams, like I always love like just making the joke of being like yeah, like listen, we're here, we're talking about life, we're talking about love, we're talking about relationship advice, we're talking about this, we're talking about that, and of course we spent an entire hour and a half last time talking about how to increase the size of your penis, because I just like saying increase the size of your penis.
Increase the size of your penis.
You got to increase the size of your penis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what did you do today to, cultivate relationships and love in your life? Did you call your mother? Did you increase the size of your penis?
That's great. It's so important. Yeah. I think people don't really realize that too.
Right.
I looked over a lot, but what are you doing? What are you doing to increase the size of your penis?
This is great. Oh my God. Anyway, so go on traveling.
Yeah. So I mean, I actually haven't done a whole lot of traveling outside of that, but I love that that sort of mentality, that message of like, I like that idea that the only thing you can spend money on, is that what you said? That will better yourself or make you a better person is money that you put into traveling.
Absolutely.
And I think that I would also like kind of challenge that or push the boundaries of that outside of world travel, but internal. I think like safe drug use, if you're doing some like hallucinogens and traveling sort of in different weird crevices of your mind.
Which brings me to my next question, PNP.
Yes.
Tell me about your first time that you did any sort of hallucinogens, because if you're recommending this to people, you've obviously,
Yeah.
clinical studies have shown.
Yeah. I am a like huge advocate of hallucinogens. I would caution people to like vet your sources and make sure that you know where you're getting things from. And personally, I really only like fuck with natural medicine. So weed and mushrooms is basically, I would be open to trying some like peyote or DMT or something like that, but just haven't really had the opportunity. Haven't, I think if I seeked it out, I could find it pretty easy, but yeah, so my first time doing acid, I went to college.
Now, well, stop right there, because I did bang your mom and she knows that you're on the show.
Okay, let me get her on the phone real quick.
Let me get her on the phone. I think I couldn't have asked for a better response to that. That is great. Oh my God. Dude, if you really got your mom on the phone for this podcast right now, that'd be so funny. But we're not gonna do that. We're not
gonna do it. But what if?
Because I mean it didn't really end well. I got super clingy. Like
that's why I'm not calling my mom. Yeah, she's not feeling you like that.
I don't know. She's gonna just know like right away. She's gonna be like, "Oh, is it that Mingucci?" I don't know if your mom sounds like this, but it's just I give every woman a nasally voice.
For the sake of this podcast.
For the sake of this podcast. Oh, is that Minguccio guy? The guy that showed me about 5 minutes in the back seat of a Ford Bronco and cried for 45 minutes.
It sounds like you gave her everything, but she's not easy to please.
Emotionally, yes. Physically, not so much.
Okay. You're not using my name on this, correct?
Yeah, definitely not. No way, dude. So yeah, go back to the acid story, please.
Okay. Yeah. So I went to school in Chicago, and I was living in the dorms with some friends, and we had acquired some acid, as college students do, from probably some nefarious sources. And we were just hanging out at the dorms, taking them and or taking it. And we had been sitting around for like 45 minutes, and we kind of assumed that nothing. It was like not real acid or something, and nobody was feeling anything. I went to the bathroom, took a piss, and as I was washing my